David Wayne Ferguson. What I'm getting ready to tell you is going to be literally fascinating. Um, I know who and why of what happened on November 22nd, 1963, and June 5th, 1968. Now, I'm going to have to explain it to you in what they call parables. These are short stories. Parables are short stories that kind of help you understand things. Now, I'm sure you've all went to your toolboxes on a day and you've looked for a Phillips screwdriver and all you can find is a regular. Or another day, you need a regular screwdriver and you go and all you can find is Phillips. And there's times when we'll just tear our house apart looking for something. We saw it, we knew it was there, and we dig all the way through everything, drawers, everything, every box, everywhere we could look. And in the future, we're sitting down and we look, and there it is on the shelf. It's got something beside it, something on top of it, but there it is before your eyes. It's just something, things obscured it, but it was there the whole time. Now, uh, this is what happened to me. I wasn't even looking for it, but it was there the whole time. Now, um, scientists were wanting to find out, is there any way that we can say that that child's going to be a serial killer when they grow up, or this other child's going to be a serial killer when we grow up? So they were trying to figure out the parts of a person's life which could create one. And they said that they came up with, if a parent abuses a child when it's young, a parent abuses a child when it's young, that's one factor. And the environment that this child's in, whether if it's like one boy with four sisters or et cetera, not always, but and the sisters all abusing, then that's another factor that could take place. Kids at school, that's another factor. And another was brain damage of some kind, falling off a bicycle, getting hurt, um, farm accident, brain damage that could cause it. Now, with me, what happened to me was abuse of authority, abuse of the law, uh, corrupt judges, corrupt commissioners, and I was treated pretty terrible through the legal system. So, when I began studying law a long time ago, when I began studying law, which you take somebody that's worked in law for say 20 years, but you take a savant, somebody that studied law 24 hours a day for 8 years, they got 24 years in, say, already. And it's just something that I'm pretty good at. And so I do research and I study and I see what's wrong with this, what's wrong with that. So a week or two ago, I'm doing some regular research and I accidentally find what people's been waiting 62 years to find: the who of the John Fitzgerald Kennedy, 22nd November 1963. Who done it? And so I told myself, I said, well, wait a minute. That's who done it. But you can't have a who done it. You can't confirm that without proving why. You have to have the why to confirm the who. Sometimes I guess if you have a why and you know why something happened, you can figure out who or whatever. You can figure out how it come about. But in this situation, I found the who first. And I said, well, you're going to have to find the why. So start digging. And after about 3 hours, I confirmed it. I found the why. And I was thinking, what do I do with this information? Well, if anybody's waiting and watching and thinking that there's going to be a watch video below or learn more, there's not going to be one of those on this video. This is actually fact. This is not some scam to where you got to watch the whole video. You can leave right now. You don't have to watch this whole video to find out. I'm not going to tell anybody. And there's a reason that I'll tell you that reason why I'm not going to tell anybody as of now. Now, the JFK movie was a great production, but that's all it was. With the exception of the Abraham Zapruder film, the only thing real and factual was that. The rest of it was just all smoke and mirrors. Now, they have for years put out different theories, different methods, most of which are are false. They lead you in the wrong direction. Now, was the mafia or was the mob involved in it? No, they weren't. They got famous from it. Everybody thinking they did, but they didn't. They didn't have nothing to do with it at all. Now, does the FBI in Washington D.C. does does the CIA do these people know who did it? Absolutely not. I'm probably the only one in the whole world right now that has this information. Now, the papers that people's been waiting 62 years to see in Washington, you don't need to see them anymore. Don't hold your breath. They done away with all inculpatory evidence. There's no evidence there to incriminate the culprit. It's not there. They can take those papers out and that file out and just empty that out and get rid of it because all it does is lead you to the same story and same theories that you've heard all these 62 years. Now, why would I not just up and blurt it out? Well, one reason, nobody believe it. Nobody would believe it at all. And another reason is that this information that I have is very, very, very valuable information. It's very valuable because it's one of the questions in the whole world that everybody wants to know. And I know. And why don't I just blab it right out? Or why don't I offer it for sale? Well, that I've been thinking about all this, but it's also very, 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 very dangerous information to have to be walking around with, knowing you're the one that knows. And I liken it to I saw a DNA person, and they said that when they match their evidence, their DNA with a known suspect or something, and they match it, they said for an instant, they said for that first minute or two before they make that phone call, They're the only ones in the world that know that this is the person. DNA proves it. So it's like that. When I found out and realized who, I wasn't even looking for it. I don't know. I don't know why God wanted me to know, but I was not even looking for it. And I did ask myself. I said, "Well, wait a minute here." I said, "If this is real, now this is who you suspected, but you got to confirm that. How can you confirm that if you don't know why?" So after about 3 hours, like I said, I found out why, and it confirmed it. And that's what I want you to know. I want you to know that I know who done the awful thing and who was behind it with John Fitzgerald Kennedy on November 22nd, 1963. I was a 6 year old child and grew up to know that the circumstances behind me knowing it was what was done to me through courts, through documents, through abuse of power, abuse of authority, the police, you name it. That's what gave me the knowledge to study, and it stuck out. When it stuck out like a latent fingerprint. It's there the whole time, but you couldn't find it. Not unless the circumstances with one individual or more was right and they weren't looking for it and it stood out. Once you put the powder dust on it, it stood out plain as day. So, David Wayne Ferguson, and I hope to be the governor of Kentucky in 2027. Kentucky Law Scholars, and Kentucky Law Scholars can use your help. And remember, send any kind of help you want to Kentucky Law Scholars, uh, care of University of Kentucky Federal Credit Union, any one of them in Lexington. And thank you very much for watching.